The world of celebrity gossip thrives on revelations, but even the most seasoned fans were not prepared for the emotional storm that Demet Özdemir unleashed. Known for her elegance, talent, and seemingly unshakable composure, Demet had long kept her private life behind closed doors. Her marriage had been celebrated in glossy magazines, her wedding pictures plastered across headlines as a fairy tale come true. But now, years later, Demet has dropped a bombshell that has shaken both the Turkish and international press. She admitted that she was deeply unhappy in her marriage, and the name at the center of that unhappiness is none other than Can Yaman. To understand the magnitude of this confession, one must first revisit the history that Demet and Can share. Their story began on the set of Erkenci Kuş, a romantic comedy that not only launched them into international stardom but also immortalized their chemistry. Fans across the globe were captivated by their on-screen romance, which blurred the lines between fiction and reality. It was impossible to watch them without wondering if their passion extended beyond the cameras. For years, whispers followed them, with tabloids insisting that something more existed between them. So when Demet married, fans were left conflicted. Many celebrated her happiness, while others questioned if she had truly moved on from Can. Photos of her smiling beside her husband seemed convincing, but behind those smiles, as Demet herself later revealed, was a heart carrying unspoken truths. "I wasn't happy in my marriage," she admitted in an emotional interview. "There were many reasons, but one of them was the shadow of my past, and yes, that past included Can." The statement stunned everyone. Was she confessing that her feelings for Can never truly faded? Was she implying that her marriage was doomed because of unresolved emotions tied to him? Fans rushed to social media to dissect every word. Hashtags like #DemetConfesses and #CanYamanDemet trended worldwide, while old clips of their Erkenci Kuş scenes resurfaced, as if fans were searching for clues hidden in plain sight. For Demet, speaking her truth was not about scandal, it was about liberation. She explained that pretending to be happy had taken a toll on her mental health, and carrying the weight of unspoken emotions only made the situation worse. "Sometimes, you smile for the world," she said, her voice trembling, "but inside, you feel like you're breaking. My marriage was like that." And the comparisons to Can, they never stopped. The comparisons, indeed, had haunted her marriage from the very beginning. Every time her name appeared in the media, Can's name was never far behind. Interviews, magazine spreads, and even casual gossip constantly linked her to him. For her husband, the constant shadow of another man, especially one as famous and adored as Can Yaman, was unbearable. And for Demet, the effort to deny and suppress those associations became exhausting. This confession is not just about heartbreak, it's about the reality of living under the microscope of fame. Demet's words revealed the emotional cost of being part of a love story that millions refused to let go of. And as fans process her revelation, one thing is certain: the Demet-Can saga is far from over. The confession sent shockwaves through both Turkish and international media. Talk shows dissected her words, gossip magazines ran bold covers with headlines like "Demet breaks her silence," and social media exploded with speculation. Italian outlets, in particular, highlighted the story with fervor, giving Can Yaman's immense popularity in their country. "The love that never ended," one Italian magazine asked, while another boldly declared, "Demet admits the truth, Can was always there." For fans, the revelation was bittersweet. On one hand, they finally had confirmation of what they had always suspected, that the bond between Can and Demet was deeper than friendship, perhaps even deeper than either of them ever admitted publicly. On the other hand, it was heartbreaking to realize that this bond had come at the cost of Demet's happiness in her marriage. The narrative quickly shifted from curiosity to empathy. Fans flooded Demet's Instagram with messages of support, telling her that she deserved happiness, that she was brave for telling her truth, and that no one could blame her for feelings she couldn't control. "You can't erase chemistry like that," one fan wrote. "It stays with you forever." Meanwhile, Can Yaman himself remained silent, adding fuel to the fire. His silence was interpreted in multiple ways. Some believed he was protecting Demet by refusing to comment, while others thought he was quietly acknowledging the truth by not denying it. Either way, his absence in the conversation made his presence all the more powerful. Behind the headlines, insiders painted a clearer picture of the struggles in Demet's marriage. Reportedly, her husband had grown increasingly frustrated with constant comparisons to Can. Friends close to the couple claimed that arguments often erupted when Can's name appeared in interviews or when fans shouted his name at public events. It was like a third person was always in the room, one source revealed. Demet's confession that her unhappiness was tied to Can was not necessarily an admission of betrayal but rather an acknowledgement of the emotional baggage she carried. She described it as a ghost that haunted her relationship, a shadow she could never escape. "It wasn't fair to him, and it wasn't fair to me," she said. But the truth is, when someone leaves such a mark on your life, it never truly goes away. The international response only magnified the drama. Spanish talk shows compared the situation to Hollywood's most infamous love triangles. Brazilian fan clubs launched online campaigns begging for Can and Demet to reunite, both on screen and in real life. Even in the Middle East, where Turkish dramas dominate, fans debated endlessly about whether Demet's words were a cry for closure or an opening to rekindle something lost. The story had transcended gossip. It had become a global conversation about love, regret, and the lasting power of unresolved emotions. And in the middle of it all, Demet stood vulnerable yet stronger than ever, her honesty resonating with millions who saw their own struggles reflected in her pain. As the storm raged on, Demet found herself both liberated and burdened. Liberated, because she had finally spoken the truth she had hidden for so long. Burdened, because that truth had reignited the endless speculation about her and Can Yaman. Everywhere she turned, the question followed, what does this mean for them now? Producers were quick to capitalize on the frenzy. Rumors spread that major streaming platforms were considering new projects to reunite Can and Demet on screen. Industry insiders claimed that offers were already on the table, with scripts being written specifically for the duo. "The demand is undeniable," one insider explained. "Their story sells itself, and audiences are desperate to see them together again." For fans, the idea of a reunion was intoxicating. Old clips of her Kenzie cuss flooded timelines once more, accompanied by captions like "The love story isn't over and this is fate." Online petitions calling for Can and Demet to star together in a new drama gathered tens of thousands of signatures in days. It was as if her confession had reignited a flame that had never truly gone out. But not everyone celebrated. Critics questioned whether Demet's openness had crossed a line, warning that constantly linking her to Can could overshadow her individual career. "She is more than half of a love story," one commentator wrote. "She is an actress with her own identity, and her confession risks reducing her to nothing more than Can's counterpart." Still, for Demet, the risk seemed worth it. In interviews following her confession, she spoke about the importance of honesty, even when it invited criticism. "I could have kept quiet, but silence was killing me," she explained. "I wanted to free myself from the weight of pretending." Meanwhile, Can's silence remained the most powerful statement of all. Each day he stayed quiet, the speculation grew louder. Was he respecting Demet's vulnerability? Was he secretly in contact with her? Or was his silence a shield, protecting them both from the chaos of public opinion? Fans dissected his every move, from his Instagram likes to his public appearances, desperate to find meaning in his actions. Through it all, one thing became clear: Demet's marriage may have ended, but her story with Can, whether real, imagined, or somewhere in between, was still alive. And with her confession, she had ensured that it would remain alive for years to come. By the time the dust began to settle, the narrative had shifted once again. It was no longer just about Demet's unhappy marriage, it was about the unfinished story between her and Can Yaman. For fans, her confession was proof that the chemistry they had witnessed on screen had been more than acting. It was real, it was powerful, and it was unforgettable. For Demet, the confession was an act of courage. She had risked her reputation, her privacy, and even her peace of mind to tell the truth. But in doing so, she had gained something invaluable: authenticity. Her honesty resonated with fans not because it was scandalous, but because it was relatable. How many people, after all, have carried the weight of a past love into their present lives? How many have smiled while unhappy, pretending for the sake of appearances? In her vulnerability, Demet became more human than ever before. For Can, the silence may have been strategic. By refusing to comment, he avoided turning her confession into a spectacle. Yet his absence in the conversation only kept the focus on him. Fans wondered if he was silently agreeing, or if he was choosing to protect Demet from further scrutiny. Either way, his name was now more tied to hers than ever. The future remains uncertain. Will Can and Demet ever reunite, professionally or personally? Or will this confession serve as the final chapter of a story that defined a generation of fans? One thing is certain, the Demet-Can saga is not over. With every revelation, with every silence, with every spark of speculation, their story continues to evolve, captivating millions around the world. Demet's words, "I was unhappy in my marriage, and part of that unhappiness was because of Can," will echo for years to come. They are more than a confession. They are a reminder that love, once kindled, never truly disappears. It lingers in the heart, shaping choices, haunting futures, and sometimes, breaking marriages. And as fans wipe away their tears, one truth remains: Demet Özdemir and Can Yaman are bound by a story that no confession, no denial, and no passage of time can ever erase.